welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 21st January 2025. So let's get started with our discussion. So before starting our analysis, I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathods IAS, we started a new batch from yesterday onwards. So in that batch, we are going to provide you the classes every day, 5 hours of classes along with daily mains answer writing and as well as prelims, practice test, revision test, and we are going to complete your syllabus within 9 to 11 months. And even we are providing options like PSIR and as well as anthropology. So you can take that courses as well. And here in this course, the conceptual clarity is 100%. We can prove that. And one more thing here is, even if you know nothing about the subjects, if you join our course, you will be getting clarity regarding the concepts, regarding the subject which is present, and regarding the topics, everything along with the perfect practice plan. And next, we are also going to provide you the materials, and classes will be taken by advanced faculty and who are from Delhi and Bangalore based. So try to join this course, and we provide on both offline and online. And if you have any queries, you can call us on the number which is appearing on the screen. Okay, so let's get started with our discussion and let us see the first article. So see the title, guys. Government lifts ban partially, gives nod for export of million tons of sugar. So this article is talking about two important keywords. First one, it is talking about ban, and second one is talking about sugar. Okay, let me write the keywords here. The first keyword here is export ban on sugar. So it had been done in year 2022 to 2023. So before this, around 7 years back, government imposed ban, and after 7 years, in 2022 to 23, government imposed ban. And now we are in 2025 January, right? So now here there is some relief from ban. So this is the timeline, and this article is talking about export of what? Second keyword is sugar. Okay, so this article is talking about trade of sugar, that too international trade. So if you see in trade, what we have two important components: imports, second one is exports. So what is an import? For example, so we are getting goods from other countries, country 1, country 2, then it comes under your imports. So exports is nothing but from our country we are sending to other countries. It is called as exports. So this article is saying that exports of sugar. So India is largest producer of sugar in the world. And if you see export wise, Brazil is the topmost exporter of sugar in the world, and India is having the second place. So now if you see the title, it is saying that government is lifting, that means removing of ban. Not completely, partially, only partially removing of ban, and government is saying that now you can export sugar to other countries. Okay, if you see the history regarding the ban of sugar, so here in the recent past, in 2022 and 2023, government announced the ban, complete ban of sugar. And now in 2025 January, partially lifted ban. That means now we can go for exports. For exports, we got green signal of sugar. So what are the things that you have to see here? So first of all, I want to let you know the dimensions. So this article is important from GS paper 3 under economy and from GS paper 1 under geography. Okay. So if you see from economy point of view, what are the dimensions you have to see? So in your economy syllabus of UPSC, you have a chapter called as trade. Okay, trade. So you have to see this topic from that chapter point of view. And even we have international organizations like WTO. I think there is some problem which is there here. Okay, so you have to see even WTO. Write down, I will be dictating. So from trade, from WTO, and you have to see like largest producer of sugar in the world and largest exporter of sugar in the world, which country. And here, especially one important key point you have to see is what will be the impact of lifting of export ban. So whenever we are having ban on exports, why any country or the government of any country imposes ban on export? That means whenever they want to increase. Okay, 1 minute. It had been stuck. Okay, I will be writing here itself. Okay, so when India is imposing export ban, that means it is nothing but we have to go for decreasing of our exports, right? So whenever we are decreasing of exports, what happen? There will be increasing of domestic availability. So we are ensuring availability of that sugar in our Indian markets. So whenever we are ensuring proper availability of sugar in our Indian markets, then what happen? Can we control price? So we can control price. Price control will happen. So whenever we are controlling price, can we control inflation? Yes, we can control inflation to some extent. And as you all know that sugar is a main ingredient we can use in every household of our Indians. So our Indian family starts, their day starts with tea or coffee. That happens with sugar only. Without sugar we can't do that, right? And even Indians are very much fond of sweets. So here the related food items that we can make only with the sugar, so their price will be also controlled if there is proper availability of sugar in the market. Okay, so for making of sugar available in the domestic market and for the price control, so government came up with this export ban of sugar. And now what happened? It had been removed. Okay, now it had been removed, right? So what happens if it is removed? We can go for increasing of exports. And now you have to see what is the impact again. So we can reach international markets and we can improve our trade related to sugar. And even we can get forex reserves now. And there are also some challenges. In domestically, that means in our Indian market, we cannot maintain proper stock. Buffered stock we cannot maintain. So everyone wants to export their sugar to other countries so that they can make good money, right? Buffer stock. Again, there may be price fluctuations in the market. So price fluctuation is one important problem for the government because as of now, you can see inflation is very high in India. Especially one of the important cause for inflation is food inflation. If again, whenever we are going for increasing of exports of this sugar, obviously there will be increasing of food prices and food products prices, different things, right? So again, it will be one cause of concern. So these all are the things which are given in this article, guys. Okay, and now let us see what are the things which are given here in this article. Okay, so if you see the context, it is saying that Union government lifted the ban on sugar exports partially. So that now our sugar industries, sugar companies or the factories, they are allowed to export 1 million tons. 1 million tons by this end of the September. So they got some partial lifting of ban and now they can export. So if you see what are the reasons why this government came up with this ban here is to maintain sugar availability in the domestic market and to focus on the price stability. Okay, so if you're talking about what is the role played by India as the sugar exporter, it is very important from your mains. So here, if you see the key points, the first point you have to see is India is the biggest producer of sugar in the world, and it is the second largest exporter of sugar. The first largest exporter of sugar is Brazil, and second one is India. And normally every year we will be dispatching about 82 lakh metric tons of sugar. Okay, so that is the thing you have to see. And let us see the next topic. So title says Uttarakhand to roll out UCC by end of January. So the important keyword is UCC. So what is this UCC? Uniform Civil Code. It is Uniform Civil Code. So have you heard this Uniform Civil Code, whether it is there in your syllabus or not? Yes, of course. So it is from your GS paper 2 under polity. In polity, we have Article 44, which comes under your DPSP, Director Principles of State Policy, talks about this Uniform Civil Code. So actually, if you see about some recent current affairs regarding this Uniform Civil Code, Uttarakhand is the first state after independence. After our country's independence, Uttarakhand is the first state to come out of this UCC. But if you see overall the history of India, so Uttarakhand will be the second state because Goa already came up with this UCC, but it was during even British period time. So during this British India time itself, Goa as a state came up with this UCC, and the second state is Uttarakhand. But after independence, Uttarakhand is the first state. So now they are going to come up by the end of January. So in this context, you have to know about what is this UCC, what is this Uniform Civil Code. For example, India is very much known for unity in diversity, right? So we are having different languages, different religions, different culture people, different caste, everyone who are living together, right? So in this diversity, we have even religious diversity. Some people they are belonging to different religions like Hinduism. For example, there is a culture. In religion, we have monotheism and polytheism. Monotheism is nothing but worshipping of a single god. So which religions they worship single god? For example, we have Islam, we have Christianity, we have Judaism, we have Jainism, we have Buddhism. And some people they will be worshipping for many gods. Rama, Shiva, Vishnu, Jagannath. Like that we have multiple gods. That concept is called as polytheism. For this polytheism, the best known example is Hinduism. So in India, we have Hindus, we have Christians, Jains, Parsis, Buddhists, right? So we have different religions people, they are living together. But if you see, whenever you are saying about civil things like marriage, divorce, property rights, everything, it is different from one religion to another religion. For example, we have Hindu code which will be guiding about marriage, divorce regarding Hindus. For Christians, it is separate. For Islam, it is separate. For Islam, I think you might have heard about this triple talaq, which had been recently struck down by Supreme Court, right? So here, all the different religion people they are living together, but why they are guided by different laws? We need to have a single law, irrespective of any religion they belongs to, regarding the civil matters. So this concept is called as Uniform Civil Code. Okay, and now Uttarakhand government is going to come up with this by the end of this January. Because of this is the news. So let us see about what is this Uniform Civil Code and which article or constitutional provisions talks about it, and what are the arguments in favor of this UCC, why we need this UCC, why not. All these things that you have to see, and there is a very high chance of getting mains based question regarding this topic. Okay, now let us see this in detail. So Uttarakhand cabinet approved the rules for UCC as its meeting chaired by Chief Minister. So finally they are going to come up with this UCC completely by the end of this January. What is this UCC? That is Uniform Civil Code. It is nothing but it refers to single set of laws, and these laws are governing personal matters like civil matters regarding marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance of property, succession for all citizens of India. And this provision even present in our constitution, that is DPSP, it is not a fundamental right. It is just a directive principle. So because of this, it is not enforceable in our court of law. So if you see the concept of UCC, which is directly mentioned in Article 44 of Indian Constitution as DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. And this is mainly telling that yes, we can go for implementing of uniform civil code for citizens throughout the territory of India. Okay, but it is not legally enforceable because it is just a guiding principle to the state. It is just directing the government. Because of this, it is not enforceable. So what are the arguments which are saying that yes, we need to have this UCC? So first important argument here is, yes, in our constitution itself it is said, in our article 44. So here we can come up with a framework for civil matters. And second important argument which is favoring this UCC is, we can promote secularism. What is the meaning of secularism? All religions are equal. We are not giving priority to any one religion as such in our country, right? So if you see the concept of secularism in other states, so entirely this religion is a separate entity. But in India, secularism is a concept which says that all religions are equal. Okay? So if all religions are equal, why there is a need of different laws for different religion? Why Hindu code for Hindus? Why triple talaq for Muslims? We need to have a single law. So this is the argument which is favoring UCC. And next important point you have to remember is for national unity. So India is famous for unity and diversity. So different religious people are living together. So for all of them, yes, we need to have a single law so that we can improve national unity. And next one is, we can ensure gender justice. So here, triple talaq, that means if you are saying talaq, talaq, talaq instantly 3 times, it is lead to divorce. What is the sense in that? No, right? So if you want to provide or ensure this gender justice, we need to have a single level of laws that should be implemented equally on all the religions. And this one is, it will be also simplifying our legal procedure. For example, regarding the civil matters of marriage, adoption, inheritance, or like divorce, etc., if they are coming and piling up in the courts. So here, if any judge who is delivering the justice, he had to refer the Hindu code for Hindus and Muslim Sharia law for Muslims and other law for Christians, like that. So rather than that, if you are having a single law, then there will be decreasing of burden on the courts, and even the delay of justice will be also decreased, and proper timely delivery of justice can be achieved. So this is also one important argument which is favoring your UCC. And next one is, we can codify the personal laws. And what are the arguments which are against this UCC? So first one here is, yes, India is unity and diversity. If you are coming and implementing forcefully on every religion, that will lead to threatening to the diversity and religious freedom. So actually here UCC is DPSP, but right to religious freedom is a fundamental right. So here right to religious freedom, which is fundamental right, which is enforceable, but this UCC is not enforceable. So there is a lot of difference between fundamental rights and DPSP. If there is any dispute between this FR and DPSP is happening, FR will be prevailing over that. So because of this, we can't implement this UCC uniformly. So this is one argument which is against. And next one is, it also lacks consensus among communities. If you want to implement this UCC, every stakeholders, they have to take into consideration. For example, in Hindus, we have like different Peethadikaris. Like for example, for every temple, famous temples, we have Peethadikaris. So we have to take them into considerations. We have Babas, right? And we have religious leaders, and we have police, and we have law enforcement agencies, and we have government. Everyone should be considered. But here, if we are implementing without consensus, then that will lead to chaos in the country. That is also one great challenge, because India is the most populous country in the world. So we can't take each and every person into consideration before implementing that. And next one is, Yes, there is also concerns about federal structure. Some states will argue that it will be having undermining this state legislative powers. Okay, and even the principles of cooperative federalism will be getting affected. So which is a part of Schedule 7. Schedule 7 talks about union list, central list and state list. Okay, so union list or central list, state list, concurrent list. So we have 3 items in this Schedule 7. So here there is a defined things like who can make laws in which subjects. So again it will be having dispute between central and state. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to remember. And now let us see the next article. So see the title, Custodial Death of Detained Man Sparks Protest in UP's Samhal district. So the keyword here is custodial death. It is very important. Have you seen this movie Jai Bhim? See that Jai Bhim, one person who belongs to tribe, been arrested on the charges of theft, and he will be tortured like anything, and finally that person dies in the custody, in the police custody. That is called as custodial death. And next, if you have seen this web series of Dutha of Naga Chaitanya, so in that movie also, one lorry driver will be arrested in the case of accident. And in this process of interrogation, they will go for third degree, and in that third degree, he will be dying. That is called as custodial death. That means whenever any person who is in custody, if he is dying in that custody, that is called as custodial death. It doesn't happen only in the police. It is not only related to police. So here in this custodial death, we have 3 types. First one is whenever any person who dies in police custody or even judicial custody. And third one is paramilitary custody. So here we are having custodial death can be classified into 3 types: police custody, judicial custody death, next one is paramilitary custody death. And you have to see what is the difference between these 3 and what are the reasons that leads to the death in this custody of these 3 different organs. And you have to see what is the impact. And even during this COVID-19 time, in Tamil Nadu, father and a son died in custody, that is custodial death. So because of this, it led to the large outrage. And even in the recent past, in MP, one tribal person had been died in the custody, and that is on his marriage day only. So because of this, entire women of that community, they came out and they started protesting before this DC office. And even whenever these government officials want to displace them or disperse them, so even women are like removing their clothes and they are sitting there. So like that here, because of this custodial deaths, that leads to lots of protests which is happening in our community. So it will also leads to some kind of communal violence in the society. So we have to control this custodial death for sure. Okay, now let us see here. So this article is important from GS paper 2 from polity and governance point of view. So what is the meaning of custodial death? As I said, it refers to the death which occurs while a person in the custody of law enforcement officials. So why? Because of using of some excessive force, or because of neglecting, or because of abuse by authorities. And according to Law Commission of India, the crime by a public servant against arrested or detained person who is in custody, that leads to custodial violence. So whenever custodial violence is happening, obviously if a person who is not tolerating that violence, that will lead to death. Okay, what are the types? As I said, we have 3 types. Yes, of course. 21. Okay. So first one is death in police custody. So death in police custody can be result from excessive force. They will be using third degree torture and denial of medical care and even abuse or some incidental cause that will lead to death. And in judicial custody also sometimes it will lead because of problem called as overcrowding, poor hygiene, and because of lack of medical facilities and inmate violence or suicide. And even custody of army or paramilitary forces also the death may happen, At that time, that will come to normally extrajudicial killings or torture. So these are the reasons. Okay, now let us see some important points regarding why we have to restrict this custodial death, why it is necessary. Because everyone, they have their own rights, basic human rights. For example, right to life and personal liberty, that will be getting affected, right? So this custodial death, it is against their basic right of individuals to be treated fairly by law. Yes, and next one here is even United Nations Convention Against Torture, which prohibits inhuman treatment. So even we are having international convention which says that we have to treat people with dignity. Okay, and next one here is even in the absence of some strict rules to prevent custodial violence, India is facing challenges in extraditing individuals. And next one here is this custodial violence can hurt mental health of a person in the custody as well. So for example, they will not take care of their feelings, and as well as that will sometimes that will lead to the cruel behavior and sometimes sexual abuse, okay, etc. So these are the things which happens. So because of this, we have to control this custodial death for sure. Okay, so this is about this topic. And if you see the next article, so title says, study categorizes 268 tribes, moots inclusion of 179 communities on SC, ST, OBC list. So this article which is talking about recently one largest ethnographic study. Okay, so we are having one study, and this study is done by Anthropological Survey of India, ANSI. Okay, ASI is Archaeological Survey of India, ANSI is Anthropological Survey of India, and Tribes Research Institute, TRIs, across the country for the first time. And they categorized 268 denotified tribes, denotified, semi-nomadic, nomadic tribes, and they had never been classified so far. And it is like a 3-year long study which had been commissioned by Niti Aayog, and they recommended that we have to include even 179 of these communities on the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and OBC classes. Okay, so here this kind of surveys are very important, because if they're not getting any status like scheduled caste or scheduled tribes or OBC, they will be out of the ambit of government schemes, right? So even if they are eligible to get benefited under some schemes, they are not getting benefited. So whenever they are not getting the benefits of the government, can we ensure development in these marginalized communities? No. So even these tribal people, they are part of our integral society, and they are also eligible for getting of government benefits. So this kind of service is very important, and once we get the detailed study or detailed list, we will be getting editorial for sure. There we will be discussing about this topic. Okay, now let us see next article. So it is talking about capex quandary. Private investments remain tentative amid growth concerns. So in yesterday's class, the first article I discussed about this investments. So there is increasing of government investments and decreasing of private investments. So what is the impact? So what are the important causes? Because these private investments or private investors, there will be always profit motive. So they will be focusing on profit. If they are getting profit, they will invest. If they are not getting profit, they won't. So why they are getting less profits or no profits in India? Because of increasing of price of raw materials, because of for example, supply chain disruptions during this COVID-19 pandemic, and because of geopolitical reasons like Israel-Gaza issue, and as well as Russia-Ukraine issue, and even there is increasing of threats in Indo-Pacific region. So all these things are given clearly, and even I said more information than this. So no need of remembering these numbers at all. So UPSC will not ask you the numbers. So see that yesterday's topic once. Yeah, and I want to say one thing very proudly, that is India won in this Coco. Yes. So actually this article is talking about go Coco go. So India needs to pump more time and more resources into rural sports. Actually this Coco, which is mainly played in rural areas, and even I can recall my memory that I also played in my college competition from this Coco, and unfortunately we lost the match. But whatever it may be, in my school and my inter college and even in my graduation time, I was like very active in extracurricular activities, and I used to play this Coco. So finally, after seeing this news, I felt very happy that India won this Coco World Cup on Sunday. So now let us see how we can use this article. So if you see this article, it is saying that we got victory in this Coco World Cup. Coco World Cup. So it is one of the historical significance, because normally this game is played in rural areas and compared to that of urban areas, right? That means here this article is saying that we need to go for increasing of awareness about this cocoa in different areas, and we have to go for community engagement, we have to go for marketing of this cocoa. And next one here is, this article is saying that yes, of course we need the government support. Okay, for example, there is a lack of recognition of this sport and as well as lack of financial backing for this cocoa. So government can increase funding so that government can organize events, training programs and grassroots initiatives to cultivate this talent of the people. And next one here is, infrastructure development is very crucial. So especially we can go for building of facilities, organizing of local tournaments, and government can provide some supportive environment to athletes, so that even government came up with this scheme called as Khelo India. So in that Khelo India also, we have to ensure investments they are effectively utilized so that we can nurture the talent. And next one is, we have to see like whether this Khelo India program which is transforming our sports in India or not. Yes, of course. So because of this scheme only, government is providing a lot of funding for this sports, and even in Olympics also in the different states of our country they are participating and they are also coming with cups, medals, etc. So in the same way we have to try about implementing of this scheme even in this cocoa. So we have to provide some substantial allocation of the budget for this cocoa also under this scheme, so that we can go for improvements and we can receive some adequate attention and as well as resources towards the sports in India. So this is about this topic. And if you see next topic, it is about IMEC. So many a times we have discussed about this IMEC. IMEC is nothing but India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. So just see about what is IMEC, and even I gave you homework for you guys. If you recall, so what is IMEC? And you have to see this trade route, how we are connecting India with Europe, and which are the port cities and which are the countries through which it is passing, and what are the advantages of this IMEC, and you have to see what are the challenges we have in this IMEC. So if you do that, that is more than enough. And let us see the next article. It is about Paris climate deal. So US to withdraw from Paris agreement, expand drilling. So as you all know that we came up with this Paris climate deal in 2015. The important aim of this Paris climate agreement is to decrease global warming to 1.5 to 2 degrees centigrade when we are comparing with this pre-industrial levels. So now you know Trump 2.0 era is going on. Trump again once again came into power in America. So because of this, again there will be lots of things which are going to be changed in future. So yes, I'm taking interviews, right, for this UPSC students who cleared this mains this year, and the most of the time we will be giving suggestions of, yes, if you are having interview after this February or after March or even in this first week of April, you have to focus on what are the dynamics of this Trump. Because if you are like an engineer who is working as software or IT company, his H1B visa will be there in your interview question. So like that, not only H1B visa, but because of this Trump 2.0 era, lots of the changes which are going to happen in the global dynamics. For example, recently he mediated, that is nothing but US mediated this Gaza truce agreement between Israel and this Hamas. And next one here is, he is going to withdraw this Paris deal. And even in this first time during his era, he removed US troops from Afghanistan. So like that, lots of the changes which mainly done by Trump. So you have to see what is the geopolitics to be in this Trump 2.0 and how it is going to impact on India-US relations. You have to know that better. Okay. So here just see about what is this Paris Agreement and what happens if he's coming out of Paris Agreement. So what is this drilling process? So whenever we are going for expanding of drilling, then what happen? Obviously, it will lead to increasing of emissions into atmosphere. So whenever there is increasing of emissions, obviously it will lead to increasing of global warming. That is entirely opposite to Paris climate deal. So because of this, US want to come out of this deal. Okay. So further details and things that if it is coming in your newspaper, I will be telling. So or else I will be taking a separate class on this US Trump 2.0 era, how it is going to impact geopolitics in different countries and as well as on India. Okay, so these are the some important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. And once again, I want to remind you guys. So we already started this new batch yesterday itself. Try to join as soon as possible by this week. At least ensure that you are joining in this week, so that we can ensure that whatever the classes that you had missed so far, we'll be providing you the online classes. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I hope you like this class. And if you really like this class, please hit the like button and please to share. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IS Academy.